Every human carries a story within. Some stories fade into silence, and some change the course of the world forever. Today we talk about a man who turned weakness into strength, pain into purpose, and taught the world that a true leader is not one who never falls, but one who never stops rising. His name was Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States, a man the world calls the man who lived 10 lives in one. Chapter 1. The Fragile Boy, 1858 to 1876. Theodore Roosevelt was born on October 27, 1858, in New York City. Born into a wealthy family, yet his childhood was far from easy. He suffered from severe asthma. Nights when he struggled to breathe, his parents sat beside him, praying he'd survive till morning. To the world he was a fragile child, but deep inside burned the fire of a warrior. One day his father said to him, "It is up to you to make your body." And that one sentence changed everything. Roosevelt decided he would not let weakness define him. He started training, boxing, and building strength in his own basement gym. He believed, from that day, discipline became his destiny. Chapter 2. The Scholar and the Dreamer, 1876 to 1880. Roosevelt joined Harvard University, brilliant, curious, and hungry for knowledge. He excelled in science, history, and politics. But he was not just a thinker, he was a doer. At 24, he published his first book, The Naval War of 1812, a masterpiece so detailed even scholars were shocked. Around the same time, he met Alice Hathaway Lee, and in 1880 they married. Life seemed perfect, but fate had other plans. Chapter 3. The Double Tragedy, 1884, February 14th, 1884. A day that broke his heart forever. In one single day, in the same house, Roosevelt lost his mother and his wife, one to illness, the other during childbirth. He wrote in his diary, "Shattered, he left everything behind and went to the Dakota Badlands. There, among the harsh wilderness, he rebuilt himself through farming, hunting, and silence. It was there he learned. He returned not as a broken man, but as a leader forged by fire." Chapter 4. The Rise of a Reformer, 1886 to 1900. Back in New York, Roosevelt entered politics, but not as an ordinary politician. He fought corruption, challenged the powerful, and stood for justice. He declared. He became police commissioner, then Assistant Secretary of the Navy, modernizing America's Navy with vision and strength. When the Spanish-American War broke out in 1898, he didn't stay behind a desk. He went to battle with his Rough Riders, leading from the front. He returned home a war hero, and America saw him as a man of courage and action. Chapter 5. From Vice President to President, 1901. In 1901, he was elected Vice President, but soon after, President William McKinley was assassinated. At just 42 years old, Theodore Roosevelt became the youngest president in American history. A new era had begun. Chapter 6. The Square Deal, 1901 to 1909. Roosevelt called his philosophy the Square Deal, fairness for all, rich or poor. He said he broke up corporate monopolies, protected workers' rights, and introduced the Pure Food and Drug Act to safeguard the health of ordinary citizens. But his greatest legacy? Nature. He created national parks, forests, and monuments, protecting over 230 million acres of land. They called him the father of conservation. To Roosevelt, leadership meant justice, courage, and sacrifice. Chapter 7. Speak softly, but carry a big stick. In foreign affairs, his motto was clear. He believed in peace through strength. He built the Panama Canal, linking the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, changing global trade forever. He even brokered peace between Russia and Japan, winning the Nobel Peace Prize. A warrior and a peacemaker. Chapter 8. The Dark Sides and Criticism. Yet Roosevelt was not without flaws. Critics accused him of imperialism, of interfering in Latin American nations and using power aggressively. But Roosevelt believed America's duty was to lead, to protect its interests and values. He said, "The best thing you can do is the right thing." Chapter 9. After the White House, 1909, left office, but never stopped moving. He went on hunting expeditions in Africa, explored the Amazon jungle, and even returned to politics with the Progressive Party. He declared, in 1912 he ran for president again, and lost, but his voice never faded. His spirit remained unbroken. Chapter 10. The Final Days, 1919. Even in his last years, he kept writing, speaking, and inspiring millions. On January 6, 1919, he passed away peacefully in his sleep, because if Roosevelt had been awake, there would have been a fight. Chapter 11. Legacy, the Man in the Arena. Roosevelt's most powerful words still echo. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again, but who does so while daring greatly. This is for every dreamer, every struggler, every fighter who refuses to give up. The message of Roosevelt. Roosevelt's life teaches us, weakness is not an excuse. Pain is a test, and courage is the greatest strength. He said, if you believe in yourself, nothing is impossible, because true leaders are not made by comfort, they are forged in fire. Theodore Roosevelt wasn't just a president, he was a living example of what it means to truly live.